if you ever said yes to anything and then wondered why you did it, and many more fascinating phenomena. With me is behavioral scientist who has been in advertising and marketing, Mr. Anand Damani. Could you give a brief background, please, about yourself for the audience?
So, hi, I'm Anand Damani. I'm a behavioral scientist and a global speaker. And by behavioral scientist, I mean apply behavioral science to change lots of behaviors. I focus mostly for clients in changing consumer behavior. So, I apply behavioral science to marketing. But I've had a advertising and marketing background. Right, used to work in advertising agencies like Lowe and then companies like L'Oreal, where I did a sales stint for a year, and also in marketing. So
Mm.
that base helped me basically get into the field of behavioral science.
Right. So, in just could you tell what is behavioral science?
So behavioral science is a study of how we make choices and decisions, right? And
Mhm.
there are people who study how we make choices and decisions for the last 50 to 60 years, and there are many Nobel Prize winners in behavioral science, stroke behavioral economics, stroke behavioral finance, stroke behavioral design. They're all the same thing, right? They all emerge from this academic field of behavioral economics, which is a combination of psychology and economics. And economics always, is that we are very rational, we make logical
Yeah.
decisions, whereas behavioral economics finds that we are not so rational. We don't make
Yes.
so rational decisions, and we make decisions which are emotional, which works for us.
Hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't work for us, right? So the way I chanced upon this field of behavioral science is way back in 2012 when I picked up a book called Nudge by Richard Thaler. Once I picked up Nudge, I was so fascinated by finding out that behavior change is completely opposite than perception change and attitude change. There's a lot of difference between intention and action, right? And there are people who are creating solutions, who are studying behavior in how to mitigate the gap between intention and action. Right. So when I read Nudge, I was so fascinated. I read the bibliography and I started my journey in behavioral science by just reading behavioral science experiments. And
Right.
when I started reading a lot, then I said, I have to practice this myself and I have to change people's behavior. So how do I do it? So I initiated a experiment which was to reduce honking. I put
Okay.
a red button on the dashboard of my car, and every time the driver honked, this button would beep and flash, and the driver had to press the button to switch it off. So it was literally like a honk back at the driver, right? And it
Right.
basically made honking, which is a habitual
Mm.
behavior, which means people are not so much thinking whether I should honk or not, to change the environment. Yeah, most
Okay.
people think
So,
of behavioral change, and behavioral science is a very like difficult thing to do. It'll take many years, many months.
mm,
That's not the case. In behavioral science, you change the environment, you can change people's behavior.
so like you said that human beings are not necessarily rational all the time; they are emotional. So, could you give some more examples of how emotion can be used to invoke and influence their behavior?
Yeah, it's all around us, right? All around us. When we go to a restaurant to eat, right, we are mostly looking at ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are looking at ratings because that's a shortcut to tell you, okay, this restaurant serves great food and what is the review and what are other people saying.
Mm.
Now, the food may be great, but somebody might have had a bad experience with parking and they
Mm.
might give the restaurant lower
Right.
rating. But that doesn't mean the food is bad, right?
Right.
But yet we are relying on the shortcut saying, okay, a lot of people have rated this great and it must be great. And that's like in a way, it's using a herd mentality. When the herd is going one way, you
Mm.
also want to go the other way. You don't want to go the
Yeah.
opposite way. So you might as well go with the flow, and more likely that you will also enjoy that restaurant, right? Whether you do or you don't is a completely different matter,
Yeah.
right? And the experience may be dependent on many other things, but you
Mm.
use this shorthand, right,
Right.
to decide. And same thing here. If it's not ratings, reviews, you'll ask your friends, your friends, your family, your
Mm.
cousins, and whoever are around you, close people around you, and you're likely to choose with that decision. And that's not just with restaurants.
Hmm.
We do that across different kinds of behavior. Who we vote for, whether we are even, behavioral scientists have found out that we even put on weight if people around us are putting on weight. I mean, that
Okay.
much of an influence, right? People have on us. So
Right.
peer pressure, social proof, herd mentality, these
Hmm.
are all real things. Sometimes they work for us, sometimes they don't work for us.
Mm.
Right? So
So,
imagine you're
yeah.
entering
Yeah.
a cinema,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you're entering a concert area or something, and there are hordes of people coming out. Now you're very unlikely to still be going, right? Because you look at people and their actions, and you'll be like, something is wrong. You're not going to think too much. You're going to think that something's wrong, and you'll also not enter,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great thing to do. But
Yeah.
if you're investing in stocks, for example, and hundreds and lakhs of people are pumping up one stock only, right? And there's a lot of hype around it, and then you come in late, and then you buy at a higher price, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the hype is not lived up to, and then the stock corrects and it crashes, and then you're like, oh, I lost my money, because then you sell out, because everyone at that point in time is selling out. So in effect, that didn't work for you. So sometimes social proof works, sometimes it doesn't, and that way we are emotional people, not always rational.
So, do you think there is an evolutionary advantage to following the herd mentality that if a tribe is scared of lions, so there must be something if they're running away, so it's better to be safe than sorry,
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
absolutely. So social proof herd mentality is a evolutionary trait, and
Mm-hmm.
we are here because we have lived in communities as a tribe, and we have cooperated, and we have done things to help each other, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why 96% of the wildlife human species has killed, right? Because we've kind of used that. Not just social proof is not just the community living is not the only thing that has helped us evolve,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of the more important things. Where if someone has had some kind of food
Mm-hmm.
of fruit, right, which has been poisonous and someone died, then of
Yeah,
course the other people are going to look at that and say, no, we are not going to do that, and we are going to do, we're going to eat something that's only safe, and therefore they have
yeah,
survived, right?
yeah,
So there is power in the crowd and numbers as well.
right.
Now, of course, everything is not rational. We are not rational people, and that's not a bad thing.
Mm.
In the last decade, behavioral scientists have, books have come out predictably irrational. People say, "Oh, we are irrational." Behavioral scientist community feels that, but it's not necessarily irrational. It's just that we are, creatures of comfort, right? And whatever brings us comfort
Mm-hmm.
psychologically, physically, we are going to do that. So if there's a faster way to get from point A to point B, we will use whatever tool.
Of
So,
course. Yeah,
there are people divided on AI. There are, of course, a lot of people who say AI is a great tool, but there are a lot of people who will say, no, AI is infringing copyright issues. AI
yeah,
is harmful, all of that. But there is no stopping AI.
mm,
Once we figure there is a way for us to make videos or whatever we want in life, right, to make software where we can use AI, a tool which makes it far more productive, far more convenient and easy, we are going to use it,
yeah,
right? So there's nothing rational or irrational about it. It's just how we are. We prefer comfort, we prefer convenience, which is a good thing as well.
yeah,
Of course, when it comes to food, when it comes to exercise, it can be a bad thing. So everything, there are different points of views and different
mm,
ways of looking at the same thing.
yeah,
So there's nothing like we are emotional, that's bad, or it's good. We are rational, that's bad or it's good. No, there's nothing like
mm,
that. It's just that what works for us in what context, it depends. I would put it like that.
yeah. So emotions add a spice to life. So they're not inherently
Yeah. What
bad.
what what are relationships? I mean,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
imagine a relationship without emotion.
Mm,
You just cannot have a relationship without emotion, right? So
right.
emotion plays a massively huge part and is a very underrated thing, actually, because
Mm,
a lot of our even if you look at consumer decisions, lot of decisions are emotional, right? We would like to
okay.
think that we make logical decisions, but the color of a product affects us beyond our thinking capacity. Okay, in blind tests, when people are given another cola, they will choose it. But when they look at Coke can, they'll choose Coke can. Why is that? That's because of branding. That's because of color. That's because of branding. That's because of
Mm,
heritage, right? So there is a lot of elements of all our senses, whether it's
mm,
sight, sound, smell, taste.
mm,
All of these have effect on us beyond our wildest imaginations, and that comes in what we are seeing as emotions,
mm,
right?
right.
Uh, and we have, as a species, we have survived also because of emotions, right? A large part. It's only if you look at the evolution of the human species and you put it on a graph, right? Millions of
Mm.
years and thousands of years we spent just foraging, being in the wild, and technology is very new to us in terms of
Yeah.
human evolution, which is why it's difficult for us to adopt things,
Mm.
difficult for us to adopt AI, difficult for us to adopt behavioral science. Anything new scares us,
Yeah.
right? And that's fine. That's because we've not, that the way technology is evolving, we have not evolved so fast. You know.
So, what kind of service do you provide? You can tell the audience.
Yeah, I run a consulting firm called Briefcase.
Mm.
And at Briefcase, since 2013, we've been applying behavioral science to get people to try, buy, and upgrade. So I work with marketers, whether it's increasing credit card sales or
Mm.
increasing life insurance policies or getting people to upgrade from a particular recharge pack to another. So try, buy, and upgrade. There are only three objectives that any
Mm.
marketer has. One is to get new customers to try your product, or get your existing customers to try new products. So that comes under try or acquire. The second is get your existing customers to rebuy, which is retain.
Mhm.
And the third is get your customers to upgrade to have a higher value product or pack within your
Yeah.
set of products. So I work across all these marketing objectives across industries, and I increase marketing conversions for clients
Right. So, what
by
is the best
applying
way to
behavioral
contact you?
science. I have just now started doing shorts on Instagram and
Mm.
YouTube. So on YouTube, I am at Anandamani underscore CO,
Mm.
and on Instagram, I am at anandamani.co.
Okay.
So you can follow me there. I am also on LinkedIn. You can search me on LinkedIn as well, on Twitter as well. But Instagram and YouTube is where I'm posting all my short reels.
Right.
Basically, the reels are on the video series. You can change any behavior, right? So
Right.
whether it's a personal behavior, whether it's a public behavior, whether it's interpersonal behavior, whether it's consumer, employee, investor behavior. So there are reels under 30 seconds
Mm.
on how to save money, how to make money in stocks, how to increase your team's performance at work, how to increase your sales, how to start a new habit. Lots of them
I think even the honking one that you mentioned is there.
is there. Yes.
It's very beneficial to know. Uh,
Thank you.
so, I would end the podcast here. It has been a tremendous
Thank
honor
you.
to have a
Thank
conversation with
you.
you.